Okay, go.
Good morning, everyone. Again, it's such an honor again to join Rochelle, and for all of you who will be watching this and will be attending. Thank you for taking the time to be present with us collectively during this time as a community. This is a time to take for ourselves, to go within. And what we're going to do today is start out with a little bit of Reiki. And the first thing I want to do is just take one full breath collectively with you all. So you can just take a minute, be comfortable. Make sure you have a glass of water next to you. And just take a full breath. And if you can gently put your hand on your heart and bring all of your consciousness from your mind that could be wandering right now, just take it and send it to your heart. Center it in your heart. And any thoughts that might just come about, watch them as if they are floating clouds. Just let them go. Let them pass by. Just feel your heart as you're breathing in and out. And I want to start with a mantra before I jump into the Reiki. And it goes like this. I am love. I am light. To manage my own energy field, I have every right. Compassion, peace, and strength I am. I witness the dark with peace in my heart. In my energy, there is space only for love that is unconditional and gentle as a dove. I am unconditional love. I am unconditional love. I am unconditional love. And just imagine a diamond in your heart shining bright and focus on that as I'm doing the Reiki right now. Now what I want you to do is just take that consciousness in your heart, send that energy down to your feet. Just wiggle your toes, feel grounded, wiggle your hands. Before we move forward with Rochelle's beautiful creative service today, just wanted to share with you that this morning when I was doing a meditation, I saw a beautiful rainbow of energy ribbons surrounding Mother Earth. And there's a lot of beautiful energy right now. And this is something that Rochelle also confirmed with me. She tapped into this morning in her meditation, which she will share with you. But there's really thousands of healers right now sending such beautiful, powerful energy of love. And this is something you can always tap into just, by connecting with your heart and imagining that energy just flowing through you. So again, thank you again for taking this time for yourself. And Rochelle, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pauline. That was wonderful. Very grounding, very relaxing. I feel so good now. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for being here. As Pauline mentioned, we wanted to gather again just to take a little bit of time out of our day, to slow it down a little bit, to receive a little bit of healing. There's a lot of energy going around right now. As you all know, a lot of anxiety, a lot of anxiousness kind of bubbling up. And at least for me, it sort of comes in waves here and there. There's like a cycle of feeling like, okay, you're sheltered inside, you feel safe, everything's okay. And then maybe once in a while, either you watch the news or something triggers you, or you receive a text message and you're right back in that moment. And so I feel like we're sort of being pulled in a lot of directions right now, and it can be tricky to navigate that. And having practices like this, I feel like is important, like now more so than ever, because it helps you to recenter, to not be swinging from one extreme to the other as drastically. And if you do, to be able to have something to come back to center and ground yourself. And so that was really the intention of our gathering today, was to create a space to recenter and to go within and connect with the heart space and to relax and receive. So with that said, as I mentioned in the Facebook post and earlier, the inspiration for me today was the goddess Kali. And it's interesting because she came up for me a lot recently, and for a few other friends. She was sort of coming up and bubbling up to the surface. And when I thought about it a little bit deeper, I realized that when I first thought of Kali, she seems to be this very intense energy. She brings destruction. But when I delved deeper into it, I realized that she is both sides of the coin. Like Mother Nature, she destroys and she creates. So it's nothing to be afraid of. It's a very natural process, like how in the fall, the leaves fall off the trees and then they become fertilizer. And in the spring, which we're starting to sort of see now out our windows, you know, or behind Pauline's beautiful background, the flowers come back to life. And so this death and destruction, if you will, is only a natural process. And I feel like, especially now when we're all in our little cocoons, we're all at home, and maybe we're experiencing some level of loss or transformation, to take some comfort in this idea that it's very natural. And with every ending comes a new beginning. And so if we can open ourselves up to this idea that change is not only natural, it can be good for us, it can make space for new to come in, we can really take this time to allow what needs to fall away, and to not know right away what is meant to replace all of that, but to have the intention that it should be something for our good. I think it's always important when you release to call in good energy, so there's no void there. That is important when you're doing energy work. The other side of Kali is that she represents Shakti, which is feminine energy, creativity, fertility. And so with that, that is really the energy that I wanted to cultivate with my portion of the meditation and art practice today, is really tapping into that creative, fertile, like, not that you have to be productive right now, but to use the energy in a way that does feel like you're creating at least the intention for something new. It doesn't mean we need to get busy right now and get working, but there is a foundation to be set so that when life does start to pick up its pace again, that you will have set a new foundation from a heart-centered place. So with that said, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking you guys through a brief guided meditation. And if you've never done one before, it's really not about needing to get a visual. It's really about sitting back, relaxing, have your feet on the floor. You can lay down if you want to, and just relax your hands in your lap. And you're just going to be focusing on your breathing. And I'm going to talk you through the entire meditation. So there's no need to try to figure anything out or do anything like that. It's similar to the Reiki in that you are really here to receive. And I will be talking you through a journey where you'll be receiving a message, and we'll be tapping into that a little bit later. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share my screen. And there's an image that I wanted to put up that has the energy of this Kali, creativity, fertility, energy behind it. So let me go ahead and share that now, and I'll keep that up on the screen as I'm leading you through the guided meditation. So while I'm getting this going, if you just want to go ahead and find a comfortable seated position and close your eyes and just focus on the breath. Okay, so let's begin by breathing in slowly through the nose. Take a nice deep breath and exhaling out the mouth. And one more time, breathing in through the nose and exhaling out the mouth. You can even let out a sigh. And one more time together, breathing in through the nose and sighing out the mouth. Okay, so with your feet planted firmly on the ground, imagine that you have roots growing from the bottom of your feet all the way down to the floor. These roots are growing through your building, through all the layers of the earth. Keep letting these roots grow all the way down until you reach the center of the earth. And at the center of the earth, there's a beautiful glowing pink rose quartz crystal, and it radiates with Mother Earth's unconditional loving energy. Now gently wrap these roots around this warm, glowing crystal, allowing this loving energy to fill you up completely. allowing this pink, loving Mother Earth energy to rise back up through your roots, all the way up to your feet. Let this pink energy fill your legs, your hips, your stomach, moving up to your ribs, your torso, healing and cleansing anything that needs a little bit of extra love right now, allowing this pink energy to come all the way up your torso and through your arms, all the way into your fingers. Let this loving pink light energy rise up to your neck, relaxing your shoulders, your head, relaxing and releasing every muscle of your body. Now let this pink, pure light of loving energy go straight out through your crown chakra, all the way up and out into the cosmos, connecting you to Mother Earth and Father Sky. You are held in this safe space, protected and full of love. Now begin to connect with the beating of your heart, syncing up with your own rhythm, slowing everything down. Now imagine yourself going through a beautiful pink doorway and entering into your sacred heart space. As you enter the room, feel completely surrounded by this pure, loving light energy, feeling nurtured and safe. Now look around this beautiful inner temple of the heart space, filled with objects that bring you joy and light you up. Walk further into this room until you see a glowing fireplace with a soft, cushy pillow set in front of it. Gently sit yourself down on this pillow and warm yourself by the fire. Watch as the flames dance before you in all the colors of the rainbow, seeing each spark of light dancing on the walls. As you stare into this fire within your heart space, you see a bright glowing light of one particular color that's beaming up from these flames all the way to the ceiling. It can be any color that wishes to come through. Imagine at the center of this beam of light, you can see a magnificent crystal forming out of that very color. A crystal made just for you out of this pure rainbow loving light energy. As this begins to come together, this crystal, it floats towards you and waits for you to open your hands to receive this gift from the Divine Mother. It holds a loving message of wisdom from deep within your heart. Open your hands and take this sacred offering. Really feel it against your skin, connecting to the energy of this crystal, created just for you. Now, ask this colored crystal, what are you ready to let go of at this time? What is the one thing that would create the most room, the biggest shift, if you could let it go completely? Allow yourself to listen and receive this message at this time. What are you ready to release back into this fiery flame of pure loving light energy? Simply be aware of any thoughts or words that come to mind. Really sit with this one thing. Allow it to come to you now. Now claim that you are ready to let it go. Release this fear, this block, this heavy burden back into the flame and free yourself of any entanglements you have with this energy. Watch the flames dancing higher and higher as Mother Earth receives this heavy energy that you have given back to be turned into the pure loving light energy of Mother Earth. Now return your gaze to the crystal and ask it, what is one thing that would be most helpful for me to embody or embrace at this time? It could be a feeling, an activity, an intention, anything that comes to your mind. Allow yourself to receive this one thing you can focus your attention on at this time. Simply sit and listen for it to come to you. Do not question it or judge it. What is the one thing you need to embody or embrace at this time? Simply sit and listen and allow. Now thank this crystal for all its beautiful, loving wisdom that it has shared with you. You can place this crystal on the pillow as you stand up and slowly begin to make your way back to the pink door. Know that you can return to the sacred heart space at any time when you need guidance or loving energy. Now walk over to the door and go through it. Slowly begin to bring yourself back into the present moment, back into your body, making small movements, wiggling your fingers and your toes, any movements that feel good to you. Slowly reconnecting with the breath in and out, feeling your chest rise and fall. And as we come to a close, we thank the Divine Mother for all her support and loving guidance on this journey, and for all the wisdom we have received today. Thank you to all of our guides, our higher selves, and to all the elementals that support us on this journey back home. When you are ready, slowly open your eyes.
Wow, Rochelle, this was so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So, as we start to slowly come back into the room, if you have a pen and paper handy, what we're going to do now is, while we have it in the forefront of our mind, write down the one thing that your crystal told you to let go of. So when you were in the meditation, what did this crystal tell you? What was it? A fear, a feeling, a memory, something? Was it unexpected? Was it something that you consciously know you're ready to let go of? If you were not here for the meditation piece, you can go back and watch it later. But for right now, what we're doing is we're writing down one thing that we're ready to let go of so that we can make space for the new. So like I said, it could be a feeling, it could be a habit, it could be, something that you're doing, like maybe you're watching too much news, you're on social media too much, anything like that, that you feel like if you let it go right now, it would be really helpful for you. And then when you're done with that, you're going to write down, if you did the meditation, what the crystal told you would be good to embrace or to embody right now. So one thing, we're focusing on one thing that you feel would be most beneficial for you to do right now. Is it getting more sleep? Is it meditating? Is it yoga? Maybe connecting with a friend you haven't talked to in a long time? What is one thing that you can do right now that will bring you back into this heart space and back into that centered state that we talked about earlier? Okay. And if you'd like as well, if you did the meditation, you can write down the color of the crystal that you've received, because we'll be using that in the art piece. And you can actually look, I can share with you the name of a book I have as well. Every color holds a specific energy. So if you do a little bit of searching later, you can look up what that color specifically means to get an even deeper reading into what your crystal was saying. And you can even look up which crystal that it coordinates with. So if it's like orange, it could be carnelian, or if it's white, it could be moonstone. So whatever color you received, write that down, and you can do a little more research on that a little bit later.
And Rochelle, during the meditation, you mentioned the quartz pink crystal in the middle of Mother Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can explain to them what that represents for those who are not familiar with rose quartz.
Yeah, I usually have a piece right next to me, which is funny that I don't at the moment. But it's a beautiful, usually a very light pink color, similar to what's right behind Pauline, actually. It's a beautiful pink color, and it essentially symbolizes pure, loving light energy. It's a very comforting color. It can be associated with the heart usually, even though green is also associated with the heart chakra. And so for me, when I do my meditation, I find it very grounding to connect in with Mother Earth and to imagine that there's this rose quartz crystal, like I said, which represents pure loving energy at the center that then you can connect in with and receive that loving energy to really ground you into Mother Earth.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna just turn my camera slightly this way here. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, like I said, all you really need is a piece of paper and some sort of circular object to trace. I happen to have a compass from very long ago. So I went ahead and made my circle, but what you can do right now is take your piece of paper, and if you have that circular object, you know, if you have something that you can just trace onto your paper, we'll be using that. And essentially what we're creating here is the circle represents a lot. But for me, what I wanted to focus on is this idea of creating this sacred space where the one thing that you can do right now, the one word that you receive, the one intention, that's going to go at the center of this circle. And the idea is that you're planting your intention as if this is like micro, macro, like this is your personal world, but it also ripples out into the greater world. When we set these loving intentions for ourselves, they slowly ripple out and do affect the greater world. So what we're going to do is at the center of the circle, create another circle, a smaller one. It can be any size you like, just big enough that you can fit a word inside of it. And when you get a chance, you're going to color in this circle in the color that you received in your meditation. If you didn't get a chance to do the meditation, you can pick any color you like. There's no right or wrong here. It's really just a matter of which color you feel most connected to right now. So when you have a chance, go ahead and color in this middle circle here, and I'll explain a little bit more about what we'll be doing as you're coloring. So one thing I wanted to note, I always love the serendipity of how things work out with numerology and dates and times. I don't believe that it's an accident when we choose these things. And so, for example, today is April 10th, and the number 10 symbolizes completion. So the idea is that you have gone through the stages 1 through 9, and when you get to 10, it symbolizes completion. And 1 on its own is new beginnings, and 0 is spirit. So it's really about co-creating this new beginning with spirit. And with that said, I just thought that was the perfect energy for the work and the exercises and the practices that we're going through today. The other thing I wanted to mention too is this idea of meditation. It's called a practice because there isn't really a destination with this work, right? And it's a lot about practicing, coming back to, if you do yoga, coming back to the mat. You have a different experience every time you do yoga, and you're meant to, not every day. You're not always in the same place, even though you're doing the same activity. And so I think it's important to keep that in mind as we do these type of practices, art, meditation, yoga, is that it is a practice. It's something to come back to recenter yourself, and less of an idea of perfection and gaining any level of skill with it. Even though you can get better at doing art, you can get better at yoga and meditating, it's not really the core intention. Is really about the core practice of showing up and being with the moment, whatever it gives to you. So with that said, if you have your circle at the center of your circle ready to go, what we're going to do now is you can use any type of writing tool. I'm going to use acrylic paint pen here. And in any color you like, you can write the word or the intention that you received from the crystal of the one thing you can do right now that will help you to feel more centered.
Am I online?
Rochelle, can you mute?
Yeah.
Because it's interrupting your creative.
Okay,
visuals. Thank you so
got it.
much.
Okay, sure. So for me, I got the word freedom. See if I could bring you guys a little closer so you can really see it. There. So whichever word you got, you're going to go ahead and just draw that in. I'm going to put on a little music while I'm talking because I always like to listen to music while I'm creating. It's more fun that way. Okay. Here we go. So like I said, I got the word freedom. And for me, when I was even reconnecting that with the Kali energy that we spoke about earlier, you know, it is a symbol of death, but it's actually specifically talking about the death of the ego, meaning that we still need an ego, obviously, but there are a lot of fears that we hold that live in that ego space. And so Kali helps us to discern and cut through some of those fears to understand the truth of who we really are, which is infinite, loving light energy. We are not bound by a lot of the fears that we deem real. And so she helps us to cut through those illusions of scarcity, of lack. And, you know, when you think of being free, it's like a carefree energy. Okay. So let's start with that. And then with any materials that you have, if you have pens or paints, whatever you feel called to use, what we're going to do is we're going to create designs that concentrically go from in to out so that we're creating this almost like a seed at the center, and we're allowing it to grow all the way to the edges of the circle. And like I said, you can use paint, you can use markers. If you want to make this more of a mandala, you can draw patterns around your circle. So I'm just going to add a few colors to my palette here, and I'm going to paint a few colors. And for me, the color that I was focusing on is this lime green, almost a yellow color. That was what came through for me. And when I looked up the crystal that was most associated with that color, it's the peridot, which is a beautiful lime green, very clear crystal. And, you know, that color in particular is like when leaves in spring first, you know, those first shoots of leaves coming out of the tree, it's like that brighter green. And to me, it was like perfect for this time of year, especially. And especially now that we can't be outside, or at least, you know, I don't really have access to green nature at the moment. And so I've been looking a lot of pictures of nature and videos of nature and that sort of thing. And even though I can't see spring happening right now, to energetically connect with nature, which I think a lot of people are experiencing as well, you know, not having access to that greenery and to flowers. And, you know, the cherry blossoms are coming in now and all these beautiful flowers are in bloom. And it really is my favorite time of year. So I will certainly appreciate it a lot more next year when we can all be outside again, and share in that. Yeah, so like I said, just, you know, whatever feels good for you guys. You, like I said, if you only have paper and pencil, you can sort of doodle around this circle. You can collage over it later if you would like. And one thing I was actually thinking would be nice to add on to this later on is if you want to do a collage or do any drawing, you can add imagery that really reminds you of this word and use it almost like a vision board. So that when you go back and look, you not only have the word, but, you know, imagery tends to have more power than words. And so if you can add, even if it's just like, for me, it's freedom, the first thing that comes to mind is a butterfly. So even if I just add, let's say, you know, a photograph of a butterfly, or I draw a butterfly over this at some point, you know, it'll really help to embody that energy of freedom that I am calling in and embodying. Because a lot of this work that we do, we with meditation and art and all of that, you know, it is definitely a physical experience, but it's not until we truly embody these ideas that they become part of who we are. And like I said, you know, we do have more of an effect than we realize on our outside world. And when we set these intentions and we recenter ourselves every day through these practices that we have, it really does create a ripple effect on the people that you interact with. They can feel your energy. It's like, you know, I heard from an old friend the other day, and as soon as we got on the phone, I felt that energy, that loving energy, you know, that we exchanged with one another. And so, you know, if you think about those connections, that even though we can't physically be with one another, you can still have, very much so, have this effect on people, by connecting with them in other ways that maybe are less physical at the moment and more energetic. And I think that we're actually starting to, on some level, realize how important these relationships are in our lives. And, you know, it's been really nice, at least for me, to use this time to reconnect with people in various forms and ways. And to use it as a way, you know, I think a lot of us are used to text messaging one another, for example, and it's been nice to hear from people and talk to each other and really connect, on a bit of a deeper level. And I think that a lot of what we're doing now, at least personally, I felt with the work I'm doing, and Pauline, you may agree with me, is we're being called to go a little bit deeper, and look beyond the surface of things, and to really use this time to say, you know, is there anything that I can shift while I have this downtime and this time to really go within? Is there anything that I can, you know, approach a little bit differently? Like I said earlier, this is not about starting a new project and being the most productive with this time. It's almost like taking it back to the drawing board before you do anything and say, is there anything I can tweak? Is there anything I can shift? Is there something maybe I can, you know, I can see it from a different perspective now that I'm not in it, which tends to be really helpful. You know, sometimes when you're busy in your day-to-day life, you're too busy to, you're too up close to it. And when you can take a step back, which we're all being forced to do at the moment, we can get a bit of perspective.
We
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, we really, this time of having the chance to go within is giving us, it's allowing us really to tap into the well of resources within ourselves. And we have that powerful well of unconditional love and unconditional resources. And all we have to do is just look within. And we haven't done that for such a long time because we're busy with our schedule, with our jobs, running to the next meeting, and to have that time now to really sit down with ourselves and look inside ourselves and see what's working, see what's not working, and look at the resources we have, each and every one of us within ourselves. It's really powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I feel like, it's that resourcefulness that, you know, sometimes you rely a little too much on the outside world to provide everything you need. And there's also this sense of needing more of everything all the time. And it's funny how, you know, now that we're limited in what we have access to, I've been using things I found, you know, tucked away in closets that I forgot were even there. Or, you know, maybe you bought 3 of, you know, the same thing, and you realize, oh, I had backup. I didn't even need that extra one last week when I bought it. So, you know, I think it's, what comes to mind is it's like taking stock right now and seeing what it is that you have and realizing you have a lot more than you realized. And for some people that might mean that, you know, this is testing them on a very deep level, and they didn't realize that they would ever be able to get through something like this, which, you know, these times tend to clarify how strong we are and capable we are. But I agree, there's something in particular about that idea of, resourcefulness, and Mother Nature herself is abundant, infinitely abundant. We never run out. You know, and I think that this time is almost even saying, like, there is a limit to that on some level, because obviously, you know, we have to take better care of our planet, but the energy of Mother Earth is infinite, and that's something we can all tap into. Okay, so you can see now that I just sort of quickly colored in whatever colors kind of come to you. I tend to work pretty intuitively with color. I don't really think about it too much. And like I said earlier, the green, which is, I love that it's matching your background now. The green is now radiating it out with this sort of peach color into a pink and a magenta. And all of these colors are associated with the heart chakra, which both Pauline and I focused a lot on today, opening the heart energy. And like I said, too, you can really reconnect with that energy at any time. Something as simple as just placing your hands over your heart and feeling the heartbeat as you're breathing deeply. That's one way. You can listen to the meditation that we did. I'll be posting this on YouTube later, so you can listen to that again if you want to, you know, have another guided experience of going into that heart space. But it's really something you can do on your own. Okay, so this seems like it's pretty dry in some areas. So like I said, you can you go back in with pen or markers and do some designs if you'd like, and really turn this into more of a mandala if you'd like. Okay. So I'm just gonna draw some flower petals because we were talking about flowers being in bloom right now. And really cultivating all these colors and energy of spring, even if we can't be outside experiencing it as much, we can still cultivate that energy of spring and new beginnings. And if you guys would like, you can actually share in the chat box the word that you came up with, so we can see some of the beautiful intentions that you guys are sending out into the world. It would be nice to see some of those words if you feel like sharing. Okay. Perfect. And then I just wanted to mention too, as we're finishing up here, that if you'd like, you can actually use this as the base if you work with crystals at all, of a crystal grid where you can actually find the crystal that this represents and place it at the center on top of this. And then what you can do is that crystal will actually take on the energy of that intention. And you know, you can leave it there as long as you would like. You can leave it there till the next new moon or full moon. And then what's nice is you can carry that crystal with you if it's small enough, you know, in your pocket, or, you know, hold it throughout the day. And once you've energized it with this beautiful intention that you've set, it becomes something that you can work with later on as well. Okay, great. So yeah, we're just finishing up now. You can, I was even thinking too, like if you wanted to, you could continue working around the circle. The idea really was that this is the inner world that you're creating for yourself. But you know, you could even collage around this. You can paint it black. You can add glitter. You know, go wild, go crazy, get creative. The border is really up to you. But the inside is really, like I said, radiating out this beautiful, loving intention that you've set for yourself. So thank you all so much for joining us today. It has been an absolute pleasure to connect with you, Pauline, as always. And please reach out if you guys have any questions and let us know. We'd love to see how your artwork comes out if you feel called to share on the Facebook page as well.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. And if any of you want to share that anything that came up during the meditation or during the creative process, feel free to post on Rochelle's group that she posted as well. Can you tell us the Facebook page again, Rochelle?
Yeah, it's Global New Moon Gathering, I believe, but we'll send out the link to that as well. And I'll put that on my Facebook page, and you can share the link as well. And once I post this on YouTube, I'll have that link under the YouTube page. So
Okay.
you'll be able to find it there.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Rochelle. Thank
You
you,
too.
everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.